Let's have a look at the Fuso starting grid, the way in which they'll line up for race number 21 of the Championship Series. Mark Winterbottom, Frosty's got pole for Pepsi Max and Ford Performance Racing, then Scotty McLaughlin. Then we've got David Reynolds and Garth Tander. Garth just one position away from his best qualifying of the season. Then it's Craig Lowndes who grabbed one right at the last moment with Alex Davison. Nice job, Alex, position number 6. Then Tony D'Alberto had a chat to him and James Courtney on the line. They'll start from 7 and 8. Positions 9 and 10, Will Davison, yesterday's race winner, and the fast Frenchman Alex Premer, position number 10.
Fabian Coulthard alongside the leading Nissan of Rick Kelly, 11 and 12. The leading Mercedes out of Erebus Motorsport is Tim Slade. He's got Chaz Mostert, who was top 10 yesterday. There's our championship leader. 15th for Jamie Whincup with David Wall alongside him. Not a good qualifier too for Jason Bright. We expect more of him. Jonathan Webb, Techno Autosports, out of 18th. Murrow Engel has Lee Holdsworth. So the two Erebus Mercs are side by side. Then Shane Van Gisbergen and one of the Norton Hornets of James Moffat. The other one is Michael Caruso in 23rd, Dino Fiore. Now Russell Ingall should have started 24th, but by causing the red flag in the qualifier, he has been docked 2 grid spots, so he will start from 26th.
Yeah, so Ingall back 2 spots. There's a couple of stories in this. Van Gisbergen, who was so strong yesterday, was on provisional pole and ended up doing a really good job in the top 10. He is in 21st position. That's big time. I can't believe that he's back that far. The biggest issue today, right now, is the series leader in 15th. And you're in the middle of the field. We saw him run into Garth Tander in the first lap yesterday. You can put yourself out of this day. He has huge pressure on him.
And typically when you bowl into the garage downstairs with those guys, there's smiles, pretty relaxed, peak of their powers, top of their game. When I did that little pit walk and I went up into the A-trailer earlier in the day, it was anything but a happy scene in there because they were raking through data. They all had the cold look on their face of what's going on and why aren't we getting there. So there's a bit of pressure on, as you suggest. Chaz Mostert, one of the newcomers in the series, joined us the Western Australian round at Barbagallo Raceway, and he has qualified into position number 14. Lee Holdsworth, Irwin Tools entry, Erebus Motorsport, Mercedes AMG E63. Chaz has done a great job. Yeah, he's dropped into the main game very comfortably here, hasn't he?
About a foot, you can go forward.
So just every inch helps. Hey boys, we've been talking about that easterly breeze. Take a look at the weather forecast on your screen. Possible shower is on the forecast. A southerly change, they're telling us. We don't know when it's going to come, but it could hit us. Remember, we're in tropical North Queensland, and when it comes from the sky, buckets down.
A lot of pressure on McLaughlin here. Winterbottom is one of the better starters.
Green flag.
He's done it so many times in his career, Mark Winterbottom. This is the first time, though, on the front row of the grid for young Scott McLaughlin. What a mix on the final day of the Supergen 400. Look at James Courtney dance across. Alex Davison is stuck with nowhere to go. He got a really bad start. And Garth Tander was really aggressive as Scott McLaughlin hung out wide. He's gone from 2nd to 4th. So a good start from Winterbottom. Reynolds locked it up and Tander got hold of him.
There's Whincup. Oh, he almost got speared then. Van Gisbergen's backed up, but Winterbottom, really good start. He got into the first corner very, very nicely. There he is.
So Todd Kelly, Murrow Engel involved at the back there with Shane Van Gisbergen. No question, car number 2's been the most aggressive off the start. And now Scott McLaughlin's trying to get that position back as they come out of turn 6 with dust flying. Ooh, that was close too for Jono Webb. So Winterbottom leads David Reynolds, Tander, McLaughlin, then Lowndes.
So Jason Bright, a shocking start, saw him really wobbling towards the rear. Terrible start also for Alex Davison. Took a long time to get momentum back in that car. Rotated down at turn 2. Shane Van Gisbergen. There was a lot of push and shove in the back of that pack.
Whincup was very lucky to get through that first corner. One of the Nissan Altimas went across the curb and almost got him straight in the door.
So Reynolds started 3rd, goes up to 2nd. Tander starts 4th, slots into 3rd. And McLaughlin drops 2 spots as Alex Premer puts a move on James Courtney and Jamie Whincup. Up alongside the Darrell Lee Commodore. and sneaks it through without any trouble in the end. So that makes Whincup up to 14th.
In front of you, and sometimes it was the Dodgers.
That would have been a really hairy first lap for Whincup. And that's the drama when you start midfield. You expose yourself to those kind of dramas. The CSR chopper just showing you how much these cars snake and bounce and jiggle around on this street circuit. They're on the Parklands part of it now, down around turn 11. Lowndes leading Davison, so positions 5 and 6. Tony D'Alberto starts inside the top 10 and remains as Mauro Engel heads back to the Erebus garage.
So Tander got the best jump of all the top cars, but he had nowhere to go, so he moved over. Dave Reynolds moved over with him, and then Frosty, Mark Winterbottom and Dave ran down the inside line, which congested the whole field. Everybody ran into each other. Oh, Lowndes very deep on the brakes. He's going to go wide.
He ended up with the front left in the marbles. He couldn't stop it. He was way wide of the line, and that cost him. He had to release the brake pedal so as not to lock up, and concedes a spot as a result of that. He couldn't get the car to tuck back in.
He's lucky he only dropped one spot there because Tony D'Alberto was ready to pounce. Okay, so good start. It's a given for Mark Winterbottom. Pretty good start too for McLaughlin, but watch Garth Tander on the right-hand side of our screen. He'll start the dive across. Alex Davison causes a bottleneck on the left-hand side of the circuit because he couldn't get the Gisbergen Falcon off the line. Midfield. So there's Davison on the left. And further up ahead, Tander's got really good momentum, but like you say, Scafey, he just couldn't get through. That's the little kink turn 1. Here down to turn 2. Oh, millimetres in it.
And just back there to your right, have a close look where Jamie Whincup is. Right back in the middle of the shot. So you see the Nissan Altima of Rick Kelly and Slade. And see here, this is where he almost got collected by one of the Nissans. See, Van Gisbergen and the guys were spinning out on the left, but Whincup almost again. He had contact there yesterday, and he's got by now. Tander by Reynolds. That's for P2. Wonder whether Dave made a little mistake because he had enough gap. The last time we saw those cars, he had enough gap over Garth to not be in a vulnerable position at turn 2.
Dave Stewart, team manager down here at Erebus Racing, mate, very disappointing for Mauro Engel. Hasn't been a great weekend, and I don't know, were you getting back out?
Yeah, look, very disappointing. Two race meetings in a row now where we suffer first lap, first turn damage. I think we can get him back out. Similar accident damage to what Lee had yesterday. We were able to repair that. So the boys are on it now, and we'll do our best to get him out there.
All right, thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
The other day, Dave Reynolds continues to be under attack. So Scott McLaughlin's got by him. Has David Reynolds got a problem at the moment already? Tander has gone straight by, and McLaughlin, so a broken header.
Yeah, it sounds awful. In fact, it sounds like it could be worse. That might even be down one cylinder. Listen.
Funny noise, mate, or is it down on power? Please give us some info. Just down on grunt, mate. Down on grunt.
Yeah, it's dropped a cylinder. So that's the reason they're rounding him up. So easy pass there for Will Davison. He goes now to position 4. Dave's got a drama with that thing.
No worry.
Here's the pass that Garth Tander made. Again, pretty easy for him as well. And that's when we first picked up the weird sound in the background for David Reynolds. There's Bright tagging Michael Caruso. This is what started all the madness down at turn 2.
Scotty Pye's seen too many of those this year. He doesn't need another one. He just got by.
For Russell Engel fans, up to 18th. He's got 8 spots in these first few laps. He's done a very good job.
And that incident on lap 1 at turn 2 is under investigation. No cars have been specified, but there'll be a few of them. So Winterbottom, his fastest lap in the race is a 1:14.877. He can now get into the groove as the Bottle Falcon of David Reynolds goes in for some running repairs.
Scafey, did I hear you say for Russell Engel fans, mate, did anyone see that bit of vision a little earlier? You've got to be kidding me.
Sorry, it was a Freudian.
Shane Van Gisbergen down in the pack is registering fast sector times.
Courtney on Lowndes, and he's up there, up the inside far enough. So still evidence of the Red Bull cars struggling on the harder tyre. So James will hold this position. Oh, a little tap, awkward one too on the run to turn 3. James may have even tagged the wall on the exit there. Very close to it. Now he's clear. That was a little raised heartbeat moment, wasn't it? So here's Whincup. He's in the middle of all this battling going on. It's Mostert on one side, Rick Kelly on the other for the reigning champion.
Oh, did he get him? Oh, he run him. There was contact the whole way around.
So that was Rick Kelly on Chaz Mostert. Tim Slade will sneak down the inside here as well. He pushed him all through turn 10. He's lucky that Mostert didn't stick that thing in a concrete block on the outside.
And Whincup is piercing his way through. He's now ahead of Lowndes. So Jamie Whincup inside the top 10. This has got all the makings of further disaster. The little group that involves Chaz Mostert, Rick Kelly and Tim Slade, who's an innocent bystander. So this is Whincup just making his way through. A little error there for Craig Lowndes. Lets Fabian Coulthard go by.
Look, bottom screen, Matty. Oh, I thought we were going to get the Nissan. I thought there was a Nissan in the background there with Mostert. That was a wild moment. That's very fast.
And Lowndes has got a big struggle going here again today.
Here we go. Here we go. Oh!
What's this?
That is as good as it gets. That is very fast. Good car control from Mostert and very good driving from Rick Kelly too. Folks, that is, seriously, it's 180 kilometres an hour with a big bump in the middle of it. They've made contact and they're on the slide the whole way around.
There's a bit of chest beating going on at the moment, isn't there? A bit of staking their claim and finding their ground before they get into the groove and try and stick to it. Pit lane penalty now for car number 8, Jason Bright, for that tag on Michael Caruso, and Bright comes in straight away.
Now Lee Holdsworth, no oil pressure or oil pressure alarm, so he's in serious trouble also in car 4, and down he comes. There he is. So that's bad news for the Irwin Tools E63.
Turn 11, mate, inside before turn 11.
Craig Lowndes.
Copy that.
Craig Lowndes reporting on the radio, which is a bit of a code we used to have when we were at HRT. He's just reported in. It's an oversteering pig. That's what it is. It's not too flash.
Where's the code in that?
Yeah.
So this is a really good rescue job from Jamie Whincup.
Look at it. It's a speedway car.
And Rick Kelly, I was going to say, won't mess around here, but Lowndes will not let him through in a hurry. Chaz Mostert may benefit out of this. Yeah, he will.
2 spots. That's pretty healthy. That's a very, very good move. That's pretty wild, that car park there. That pass there for Russell Ingles, probably under the yellow. He's probably going to give that spot back. Oh, Lowndes!
So that thing's just a mess in its behaviour. So Lowndes peels out of it to try and either grab another tyre set or make an adjustment. I don't know. They've got to fix it. It's horrible.
I think it's the 2 soft sets now. So you put 2 sets of softs on.
So they're anticipating a safety car at Red Bull for Lowndes. That might help his cause, and now he's deployed. And I reckon that pass that Russell made will be called into question as well down at turn 11. So here is Lowndes, car 888 Red Bull Racing. Safety car is going to be dispatched.
Yeah, that's a good pickup, Scafey, because there's another set of soft tyres going on there now. There's another set in here on the trolley I see marked 888, soft tyres also. So that's what they're on about. They're going to need some help here to make this one work, though.
Well, it's not too bad because the safety car might help him, Larko. So even if you go around to the back of the grid and you've got soft tyres on, look out because he's going to come through the field. This will be fantastic.
Mate, there's 2 tyres, so just be careful on them, quick round on, so need you on your mark to be stopped on tyres. Right, clear, 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 clear. Go, go, go. Merge, merge, merge. Clear to go when he goes. Clear to go. Go, 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 go. Highlight, please. Stop highlight. Go, go. Zero the fuel, please. Zero the fuel. Look, a lot of those guys put softs on. They would have got us anyway, Brody. Push to the line and then conserve, please. Game here. Conserve fuel, please. Conserve fuel after you get to the line. Next set of tyres, so just catch the queue. These are green softs. Yes, green softs. Green softs. If we're lost, we should think about hitting again all the safety cars out. See how these guys
Welcome back. Of course, we didn't have a safety car yesterday. The chance of a safety car in races here is about 75%, so it was just a matter of when today, and it came early, and it has come with its dramas at the Holden Racing team. They had to wait, double stack, so Tander gets serviced, and then James Courtney comes in, and they could not get the right rear off that, and the fuel had already been put in, so that's a net loss in pit lane. Congestion 2 for David Wall. Barrett's.
Matty, we really want to see Dave Reynolds out on the track because he's such an exciting driver in such a fast car, but they are working on his engine misfire at the moment. Dave, any update on how that's going?
Unfortunately not. It could be could have dropped a valve, or it could be a plug lead or something simple like that. But as Neil Cromden always says, there's 10,000 parts to make up a V8 supercar, and only one has to go wrong.
That's one of his many sayings. David, it's frustrating because at this time of the year you've proven you're on the pace.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate because yesterday I had a bit of a drama, and today I qualified a bit better and we were looking for a good result. But it's just racing. It's one of those things. We'll come back stronger next round.
It's another one of Neil Crompton's sayings. It's just one of those things. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, man.
Hey, Scafey, I did happen to have my back turned when that safety car was deployed, so I didn't read that very well, mate, but about half the pit lane, or a dozen cars have come through and put soft tyres on. We are absolutely going to get the race we want here. Fantastic.
So what's going to happen here is that a whole chunk of the field are going to go back-to-back on soft tyres based on what they learnt yesterday from Mark Winterbottom in particular, and that also means that when they come back in for the second time, they stand still for a much shorter period of time to grab the balance of the fuel that they need.
Green flags, green flags. Thank you, safety car.
All right. Winterbottom.
How's the gap? What a dud restart.
Leads McLaughlin. Will Davison in third. They come charging up this main straight. And you watch these guys on soft tyres make their move early. So down to Dean Fiore. So the first 10 cars here have remained on the hard tyre compound. Tander's on the soft, he goes through. And he's the first in the queue on the softs as well. So we've got a split race. Just 12 laps in. Out of turn 3, that big bump of the car. These guys at the front will know it's coming. Lowndes rounds up Fiore. There's a graphic illustration of what the difference is between the soft, grippier tyre and the harder compound tyre. Just make it look so easy, go spearing on past. Tim Slade is the only remaining Erebus Motorsport E63 AMG Mercedes out there. Lee Holdsworth and Maro Engel.
And Matty, this is important for, there's a bit of contact here. Important phase of the race. This requires good team communication. When you're in your car, you don't really know, although there's the light on you see on the front of the cars there, hard to pick who's on soft and who's not, and who you're battling against. And this is called the art of being overtaken, not the art of overtaking. It's equally as important.
It's a good point, Larko, and it was one that we made yesterday when Lowndes was the Lone Ranger out there on softs. It kind of made it easier for him and easier for everybody else because they all knew that there was only one guy on it.
Yeah, Tander's done the fastest lap of the race, no surprise. He's the first in the queue with a soft tyre on. He's done a 1 minute 14.6. He's 8th at the moment. You'll see the light illuminated in behind the screen on his car, and he'll blaze. He'll get through big chunks of the field here, and then he'll see him get onto a second set of tyres. So track position and tyre grip will serve him well. Look at this madness.
This, honestly, is the biggest chance for HRT to win a race this year. This strategy right now for Tander will get a yield. It'll move him forward, as you just said, Neil. He'll pass guys, as you can see, and when he gets to wherever he is, he will shortcut. He will have the shorter fill, so when they come in for the next set of softs, he'll have a shorter fill than Winterbottom and Davison and McLaughlin, and when that happens, he'll jump. So this is his best chance to win a race so far this season.
And that shows good resolve from an experienced campaigner like Garth Tander to come here and start the weekend like he did, with the suspension dramas that have been plaguing that garage. Put it all behind him, race yesterday, raced well too, started from 15th and came up into 8th. From lights out on this one, he's been aggressive, and now he's got the grip to do what he wants at this stage of the race. Another fastest lap for Garth, a 1:14.6, so he moves up to 7th.
So it's a 1.2 second margin. In fact, it's just narrowed slightly. Mark Winterbottom over Scott McLaughlin. Meantime, Tander's 3.5 seconds away from Winterbottom, so I'm going to check that number from time to time to see how that's tracking. He's all over the back here of Jamie Whincup and looks down the inside at 11. It should be pretty textbook to get down there with the softer tyre on.
And Aaron Noonan's just given me the stat on this. Oh, in the wall goes David Wall.
He was in a big battle with a group of cars. I saw Rick Kelly in that battle there before.
Make it back.
It's turn 8.
That car had a broken shock yesterday. Remember, it ended up in the wall, so, and was heavily damaged in the Northern Territory as well. So back-to-back race meetings have been tough.
Here we go. So he's down the inside, and that's with Todd. They make contact. It's a little bump, and a little bump, and a little bump, and off he goes. So contact between Todd Kelly, Nissan Altima. Yes. So, sorry, Aaron Noonan with that stat is that HRT are winless for 58 races, Matt. So this today, right now, is their best opportunity for the year.
Well, Garth Tander, of course, that last win, Bathurst 2011. He's been on the podium 3 times this year. And he'd be enjoying this one.
Are you going to make a commitment yet about the State of Origin bonnet? You sort of got on the fence yesterday about that on Garth's car. You like the Maroons when they're going well, and you live in Sydney, and are you going to make a commitment? Or?
Well, Garth has got the Queensland State of Origin colours on his bonnet.
Yeah.
James Courtney, who's a self-proclaimed proud Westie of Sydney, has got the New South Wales Blues on.
Yeah.
Doing a fantastic job.
It's about you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm more than happy to back Garth while he's here, and then I'll change as soon as I get on the plane. It's Rupert, not stupid. So here comes Courtney.
Also on soft tyres.
Gets past Chaz Mostert and goes up into 10th. So Winterbottom's lead is 1.8 seconds. Back to Garth Tander, it's only 3.5 seconds, so that's only a matter of time before the soft tyre compound underneath car 2 takes him up as he gets past Alex Premer, takes him up to our race leaders.
That's 4th now for Garth Tander. Lost a little bit of time relative to the leader having to do that. It's back to 3.7 seconds now. Remember, because he's already grabbed some fuel, topped it up, his requirement to put more fuel in for the second stop now isn't as great. So in many respects, it's very early to say this at this point, but he's effectively the race leader.
And he's doing the qualifying trick too. He's got his lights on to let them know that he's coming. So Garth Tander showing all the signs that he's ready to break that long drought personally and at the Holden Racing team and claim victory today. But there's a lot to play out on this one here in Townsville. Welcome back. Mark Winterbottom continues to be the race leader, but it will be short-lived because the 36-year-old West Australian Garth Tander is leading the soft tyre charge. Check this out. On the inside of Will Davison, it just sticks like glue. Although it's not without its troubles.
Whoa.
Seriously.
That's going to buy him a DNF if he's not careful for Garth there. That was very heavy contact. Fortunately, he was square to the wall when he hit it, but he hit it very hard. So now we'll see whether or not that triggers a reliability issue.
Well, with the previous generation cars, that would have broken the Watts link. That is a hard hit. Actually, the whole car come off the ground. That is a very hard hit. That would have put them out before. Scott Sinclair there talking to Garth.
Lowndes on the soft tyre. So I'll run you through the top 10 and who's on what. Winterbottom leads. He's 2.5 seconds ahead of Garth Tander. Winterbottom on the hard tyre, Tander on the soft. Then Scott McLaughlin on the hard tyre. Then Tony D'Alberto on the soft. Will Davison hard tyre. Craig Lowndes, James Courtney, both on the soft. Alex Premer on the hard. And Tim Blanchard and now Jonathan Webb into the 10. Webb getting past Coulthard there on the soft as well. In the meantime, David Wall has been shown a mechanical black flag, and that incident that saw Wall go into the fence at turn number 8 between Todd Kelly and car 21 is under investigation.
Yeah, and the Twitter guys have lit up over that incident with 21 and 7 and asking about whose fault it is. A little bit of a two-way street, that one. Both cars were alongside each other. Todd couldn't pick it up and move it. David was on the wrong side of the road. Probably a 50-50 out. This is the replay. As we said, our V8 Supercar fans have got on our Twitter address, and that there, big consequences for David Wall on the wrong side at that point, but a little, as I said, 50-50 on the level of fault.
I'm just going going to grab a word just quickly with Steve Allen, the team principal down here at TWI. Mate, you must be pleased with a couple of things. The pace of Garth Tander, and on our couch, you may be 7 seconds less on fuel than some of your competitors at the fuel stop, so in good shape.
We're not in bad shape. There is still 50 laps to go, as you can see. A lot can happen in that time, but where we are now is pretty good for us at the moment.
Steve, I jumped when I saw Garth tag the wall then. You obviously built a strong car. That was a pretty decent hit.
It was a fair swipe. From what we can see, everything's still straight, but hopefully there's no damage that'll manifest itself later in the race.
Good luck. A lot of people are happy to see that car up there, mate.
Thank you.
Isn't it bizarre how things play out too? That last race win that the Holden Racing team and Garth Tander had was at Bathurst in 2011. Do you remember that day?
Do I remember?
Nick Percat hit the fence at turn 2, put it sideways into the fence, and they went on to win. Some 21 months later, Garth Tander whacks it into the side of the fence here and is a big chance to break that drought.
I do remember that, Matt.
I thought you would. So no further action to be taken on the incident. Lap 1, turn 2. Message has just come up from race control. You see it up on the screen there at the moment. So that margin back to Tander that I've spoken about a couple of times now, 3.3 seconds. So it is tightening up Tander to Winterbottom. Of course, Garth's had to find a bit of track position along the way. Whenever you're passing cars, that slows the progress. But you can see that gap now quite obviously has narrowed right down. Officially, it's 0.6 of a second. Don't forget Tony D'Alberto in this argument as well. Spoke to him on the start line. He's got the same strategy going here as Garth Tander. He's on the soft tyre. You can see the light illuminated behind the screen on that car. So he's looking pretty racy too. Remember that he's a customer of Walkinshaw Racing with that Holden Commodore. So they've taken the opportunity to do that with all of their cars, including Russell Ingles. So all 4 of the Walkinshaw Racing cars, that is both from the Holden Racing team, 1 Super Cheap Auto Racing and 1 Highflex, are all on that strategy. So they clearly talked about it in the truck pre-race, and if a safety car intervened, they were going to back-to-back their soft tyre in the latter part. Now here is Tander. He's got to stay away from that demon wall on the outside. He has the big lunge down the inside for the race lead on the soft tyre. Now this is now going to get very interesting. Got good pace, hasn't he?
Well, our Twitter guys asked the question about who was at fault in that incident between David Wall and Todd Kelly. The stewards have said no further action. So as you said, Scafey, probably 50-50 call there. You can use the hashtag V8SC to be part of this conversation. So Garth Tander now has finally cut loose in front of the field at the Supergen 400. Welcome back. Mark Winterbottom has surrendered the lead here to the Chargers on soft tyres. It's been a tough day for the Erebus Motorsport team. Two of their cars in the pits, Murrow Engel and Lee Holdsworth. Race control have been called into action already with a safety car. And Team BOC, the Lockwood crew, getting ready just in case Fabian Coulthard has to come in because he has some loose bodywork at the rear of car 14. He's down in 16th spot. So Winterbottom is trying to hold on and match the times. He's on the hard tyre. He's the only guy inside the top 5 on the hard tyre. Garth Tander is our race leader. And look at this from Tony D'Alberto, who goes up into second. This is a terrific run from the 27-year-old, the only single car operation in the field. Crompo mentioned the alliance with Walkinshaw, and it's paid dividends for Tony, who's at the front of the field and running hard.
He's driven very well. Neil made the point before about how far he was coming forward in the field. He's actually set the fastest lap of the race, slightly faster than Tander. So it's a very good drive from Tony D'Alberto. It's the best we've seen him perform all year.
Well, he's had a couple of top 10s this year, Tony. There he is in the front of shot, the Team Highflex. And his best run came at Adelaide. In fact, he had a really good weekend, a 12th and an 8th, after starting way back in the field in both. So he likes these kinds of circuits.
Been a tough weekend for Lee Holdsworth. Never easy, Lee, standing here in the garage watching the race go on, but pretty hard weekend. I guess this is all part of being a young team, just learning to walk again.
Yeah, that's right. We got to stop meeting like this, Brett. Yeah, you know, we knew it was going to be, we were going to have some reliability problems this year. I was having a ripper run then, and we'd moved up a lot of spots, and the car was feeling great. And we had 2 sets of softs up our sleeve today, so it would have been a good result, I'm sure. But yeah, just lost oil pressure, and I decided to shut it down. The team told me to shut it down, and had to pull up. But you know, it's probably good for my teammate Tim Slade. The safety car couldn't have come out at a better time for him, so he's got 2 sets of softs, and he's looking pretty good at the moment. So we're rooting for him, and hopefully he gets a result. And you know, Irwin Racing will be back next round and fighting harder than ever.
All right, we look forward to seeing you flying at Queensland Raceway, Lee. All the best.
Cheers, Brad. Thanks, mate.
Remember, Lee was caught up in that kerfuffle in the final race of the weekend in Darwin. DNF there, so he's now had 3 straight DNFs. Just wants to go racing like the rest of them. Here's James Courtney up into 4th. So top 4 now, all on soft tyres. Mark Winterbottom holding down 5th. His last lap was a 1:16.4, and those on the softs ahead of him are around 2 seconds faster, 1:14.4s.
Whincup, meanwhile, is 17th, Matt. So Whincup on the hard tyre. As you said, the 4 top cars on soft, then Winterbottom by himself, and then McLaughlin and Davison are the 2 then that are still on hard tyres. It'll be critical for the Ford guys to get in as early as they can possibly get in now.
It's a good moment to reflect on a guy like Tony D'Alberto while he's running at the front, running so well for Team Highflex. Won the Dunlop Series back in 2007, the development series. It's been a family-owned and operated team since 2005. He finished 6th at Bathurst back in 2007. This is his 84th event. It would be great to see him finish on the podium. His best ever career finish has been 6th a couple of times. So there's Winterbottom. Back to Shane Van Gisbergen. And John O'Webb, his teammate. Scott McLaughlin's on hard, so too is Will Davison. The next 4 are all on softs, down to Todd Kelly. And then here comes the rest of the hard tyre brigade, all the way to the rear of the field.
So why I said it's important now for Ford Performance Racing to get in and get these tyres as early as you possibly can do it is Mark Larkham referred to the undercut early. It's 60 metres better off by 1 lap on a car that you put soft tyres on versus hard tyres. So you've got to come in and do that. The fuel economy they showed yesterday was very, very good. Winterbottom did the longest run yesterday on the soft tyre. If they do that right now, there's 6.5 seconds less time for Garth Tander to fill that car of his versus Winterbottom. He's already got an 8.5 second lead on Winterbottom. So you've got to be able to get in, and that's what it's all about. This is critical. This is the time now. If you let Tander get too far away, it's over.
Scafey, you're spot on. FPR are all set up to bring their cars in. I said to Tim Edwards, how long till you get these cars in? He said soon. I said, how soon? He said very soon, and there you go. They are into it now.
So remember, this crew have had their dramas throughout the year.
Okay, out of the way, Ethan, so we can see Tim. You're going to be clear. Stevie, watching out. Oh, this is going to be tight, boys. It's going to be really tight. Watching. Go. Side light on. Side light on. 3 seconds. You can clear on the front straight and clear track.
To show you how critical that stop was, you just could hear it in their voices. The amount of counselling going on there to make sure that all the processes were done correctly. They had enough time with the fuel to go in to not have to rush at the wheels. So they took control of that and got Frosty out there with no dramas.
Watch this.
Aside from this one.
Yeah, that was a good pick-up there, Matt White. That's Chris O'Toole you could hear on the radio, long-time team manager down here, a lot of experience, and you're dead right. Couldn't you hear that calming influence, which is ever so critical, because that's race-winning and race-losing stuff.
Yeah, and they've been through it already, Larko, haven't they? So they knew what was coming. They knew how much it can turn their day around.
Whincup in.
Jamie Whincup has come into pit lane, so we'll be there for that one. D'Alberto there just had to free himself of the Team BOC car of Jason Bright, which is a lap down, championship leader.
No spinning of the wheels. Try that rear bar for me, mate. Try that rear bar. All wheels are done, but no spinning. Do not spin the wheels. Nothing in pit lane. Just on the fuel. Still nothing in pit lane. Good to go. Soft tyres, cold soft tyres. A bunch of cars coming down the straight. Stay off the curve. 2 laps minimum.
There's a couple of key messages in all that. One was this business of managing the wheel spinning, which has caught Jamie a couple of times, and while the tyre pressures are down, keep away from the curb so that it crush the sidewall of the tyre.
The other thing is, we said it yesterday, but Garth Tander and now D'Alberto have actually put a lap on Whincup. He's a lap down right now. So critical time in the race. We said these guys have got to get these stops done quickly. They put the leader, the normal team protocol is that the guy who is leading in the team gets the first choice of the stop. So they brought Winterbottom in first. Now Will Davison.
Around useful position, obviously. Some of them have to stop again.
It's a slow getaway. There's the gap to his teammate. That's a big gap there. There's your leader on the right-hand side. Garth Tander sporting the State of Origin Maroon's bonnet. It comes up behind Will Davison. Will not want to give this away. He want to stay in front of Garth. But on cold tyres, you've got to make sure you don't use too much curb. The reason for that is that the cold tyre's got so much grip, but the pressures are low until they build temperature. So when the tyre is low on pressure and high grip level of the surface, it's very easy when you hit something to tear the tyre off the wheel. So what Will's got to do is just bring the temperature up nicely. You can see that his grip level is much higher than Garth Tander's, so he's got away actually in that little zone of the track. And this is very important for Will now to put a couple of really good laps together. This is a lot of damage on the back of Fabian Coulthard's Lockwood Commodore.
Remember that Tander and Will Davison had some aggravation in the Northern Territory as well. They had words after the race when we were heading down towards the presentation area. So the former teammates have had one or two little friction moments in the recent past. So Tander's got the race lead. He just lost a 1/10 of a second because he's in behind Will there at the moment over Tony D'Alberto. Courtney's in third, so it's Walkinshaw Racing Cars 1, 2, 3. Craig Lowndes next, John Webb in the pit lane. Van Gisbergen's recovering slightly here as well on the soft tyre strategy.
And remember yesterday, boys, that Mark Winterbottom did 42 laps on the soft tyre. Getting here on lap 28, he's got 42 ahead of him again. So the Darrell Lee Commodore of Jonathan Webb in. No issues there. Fabian Coulthard is getting hounded here by Alex Davison. Scott McLaughlin with Russell Ingall behind him. So Scott's still on the hard tyre. And Russell's now done 23 laps on the soft. Now, Ingall will head in. He's going to do the same as what Jonathan Webb just did and go soft. Soft. They had a bank from yesterday. Tim Slade is also in car 47. It's kind of the wait and see period of this race. Tim Blanchard up on the rear of car 7 of Todd Kelly. There you go. Take one set of softs on and put some others back waiting Super Cheap Commodore.
This race has unbelievable strategy to go in this because we're just working out whether Garth Tander put new tyres on or the second-hand soft tyres from yesterday. Now, if he's put new tyres on and he runs as long as he can, that's fine, but at the end, when he puts his second-hand tyres on, they won't be as good.
No.
There is a huge amount to play out here because the second part of this equation is if they put second-hand tyres on now and they've got new ones to put in, they'll want to come in as early as they can. The safety car can destroy this for Tander if it pulls the wrong lead here. This is a really pivotal time of this race.
McLaughlin enters pit lane.
So, boys, let's just take stock for a minute up and down the pit lane. Most of the important stops are all done now. So all those people that have stopped and put soft tyres on, we know are filled up, they'll go to the end because remember they had to get past that 28 or 29. Tander, come in around lap 9. Now, Scafey, based on what you've just said, I've been trying to get a gauge on who's got what on the pit lane. Now, I don't know if you can, we probably can't see in front of me here, but I can see car number 2 tyres here, and I don't see any new... let me just check. Yes, you're right, mate. There's a new set of soft tyres there. What's going to be really interesting at the other end of this race when guys come in and do that, well, we've seen what Tander's got. Who else has got what? I think some guys are going to be forced to put hard tyres back on at the end because their soft tyres that they used yesterday, which are the only ones they have left, will be absolutely ratted.
Yeah, well done, Larko. So we're going to work this out for you. So when Tander does come in, we'll pay particular attention as to what tyre goes on that car. They may have split the set in that way, so we'll just try to sort this out because the pace at the end of the race, with whatever Garth Tander puts on the car with less fuel stop time, will determine his position versus FPR. This will be a factory Ford versus factory Holden battle.
And he's really getting clogged up here at the moment with all this traffic. They are showing the blue flag, but he's not getting a run here at the moment. He's going to lose this cushion that he has over D'Alberto. Van Gisbergen in. Alex Premer's in as well from 7th and 8th.
Open fuel. You'll be clear where we're going. You're clear.
High risk here for Tander because it's when all this traffic bobbles up and someone at 1 or 2 or 3 cars ahead of you makes a mistake, you can get tripped over in someone else's accident.
Very true, Neil. This is a time for Garth to just take a little bit of stock. Just make sure that you don't make a mistake before this next stop. You have to be in contention when you put the next set of tyres on He knows he's got a 6.5 second break on the FPR guys in the pit stop itself. He's already come in earlier in the race. He's got 9 laps extra fuel, and that means he doesn't have to stop for as long. So Tander, D'Alberto, Courtney Lowndes, Todd Kelly, Scott Pye, Dean Fiore, Malcolm Caruso, Jonathan Webb, and Shane Van Gisbergen. That's your top 10.
Incredible distortion and bump and bounce of the Fujitsu car. Scott McLaughlin had to wait 35 laps before they gave him a fresh set of soft tyres. So he's currently in 16th. The biggest miracle of the day for Garth Tander, if he wins this one, may not be how and when they used what tyres they had, but that he survived whacking that wall earlier on at this part of the circuit. It's rare to see an impact like that totally jars the car off the ground. All 4s were off the tarmac. It doesn't seem to have affected him at all.
He's very good at that sort of stuff, Matt. He's experienced. He's a hard racer. He drives around the problems in the car often. And that's one of the things that, with that level of experience, and you get yourself organised pretty quickly. Is the steering straight? Is it brake straight? All the things that, as a driver, you get a feel for immediately. And Garth gets his head down straight away and gets on with it. This is young Mostert down the inside of Craig Lowndes. So that's a pretty healthy move.
Right, boys, well, here it's about to happen. The HRT boys out on the pit lane with a couple of new soft tyres. And when I say couple, I mean a couple. No, my mistake. That looks like car 22 tyres. I might have jumped the gun here. Man, this is edgy down on pit lane.
I'm not surprised.
That's right, Matty. I saw the tyres in the other garage, and they looked like they were old for Tander. So they may have put their new ones on already.
However, the tyres for James there looked like they were new. Car 22 were marked on those tyre cases. Now, Todd Kelly's got a low oil pressure alarm on that car. He's in 5th at the moment. Jack Daniels Nissan, they've told him to ignore it for the time being, so it may be just a false reading.
So in terms of speed, Courtney's been very strong, but he is 4.75 seconds, and he's in now. He's 4.75 seconds behind Tander, but he's got new tyres to put on. So we'll check this for you because this is critical to the last sprint now of a 30-lap run, effectively, of what is going to be the sprint to the end.
Yeah, you can see his cape. That's actually a new tyre. Look across there. Probably can't see around the other side. Looks to me like a used tyre. This one that's just gone on under here. Look at that. You can see that is not a green tyre. Now, come with me. When this stop's done, they just fill him up. Oh, hang on. You just have a look over here. You'll see. Look at that. Number 2, soft tyre. Brand new.
So that looked like rears only to me then.
Yeah, it was, Neil.
Because they've already satisfied the regulatory requirement of running both compounds. That's all they've got to do. It didn't say you have to use 4. It just said you've got to use both the hard and the soft tyre.
And Neil, they've just rolled out 2 new rears for Garth as well, so they're going to do the same thing. Very clever.
Yeah, so strategies actually work nicely for them, isn't it? A massive belt through the front of the car for Craig Lowndes there at turn 6. Or was it 8? Whatever it was huge.
Ugly.
Turn 6.
Turn ugly. 1:13.93 is the fastest lap of the race done by Shane Van Gisbergen, which is half a second off the race lap record. Okay, Garth Tander in.
Rears only, looking at about 12 seconds. The steer up if we can.
He's got margin up his sleeve here at the moment, Tander.
7 seconds less fuel.
Clear.
So 12 seconds off 14.39 there, but we think about 6.5 to 7 seconds less fuel than the leaders. He'll come out clear, but remember, he's only put 2 fresh tyres on the back.
And there's his teammate, James Courtney.
This is the State of Origin battle, this one.
Tander leads them out. He's got fresh rubber on the rear of car number 2 and also fresh rubber on the rear of car number 22. So the Holden Racing team are looking good, but Tony D'Alberto leads this race. Quick break and then back at Townsville.
Awesome overhead view of Reed Park, Townsville. Tony D'Alberto's our race leader. 5.7 seconds is the margin over Craig Lowndes. Tony's on the soft tyre in the high flex Holden entry. There he is in the foreground. He's being chased at the moment by Chaz Mostert. Chaz actually down in 16th at the moment. So it's D'Alberto, Lowndes, Pye, Tander. Remember, this is all scrambled up a little bit because Garth's taken his second stop together with James Courtney and Shane Van Gisbergen, so that's buried them in the order slightly, and we've got a very interesting story to tell about where all the lines meet strategically later in the race on who's on a soft tyre and how they got onto their soft tyre and at what point in the race. Some of them have done it twice, others have been using a mix of the hard and the soft. It's a very interesting story.
So right now, that story is that Mark Winterbottom is in 8th position. Garth Tander is in 4th position. Garth has put 2 fresh tyres on the back. He is 14 seconds in front of Winterbottom. There are 27 laps to go, so he's basically, Winterbottom has got to find half a second per lap by putting 4 tyres on the car. Now, whether he can actually do that, we saw his pace and we saw his consistency yesterday. This is the critical phase right now. It's the sprint to the end. Can Winterbottom find half a second a lap to get to Garth Tander? Garth Tander's teammate in James Courtney is 3 seconds behind him. They are effectively 1st and 2nd when all this settles down.
There are now 16 cars on the lead lap. Make that 17, and Chaz Mostert, who you referenced on the way back from the break, just got himself back onto the lead lap. We're having a look at Dean Fiore in the Dodo Insurance Commodore out of Lucas Dumbrell Motorsport. His teammate Scotty Pye has come into pit lane. Dino and his wife Kelly welcomed a new baby into the world on New Year's Eve. The baby George. So there's Lowndes.
Whoa!
And almost there goes Lowndes.
Phew. That was a big moment. I was just about to say that Lowndes isn't actually out of this yet. That could have almost put him out. I think Lowndes has actually got to come in very soon to put himself back in contention with this. He's right on the cusp now of being with Winterbottom. So when these next couple of stops do take place, this is going to be an intriguing finish. So Tander and Courtney are the pace setters.
And they're going to send Maro Engel back out. Lee Holdsworth is a DNF confirmed. Engel copped a whack, you may remember, on lap 1. So look at this replay. Contact here between Scott Pye and Rick Kelly, and some pretty heavy hitting too.
Gee, that was almost a spin.
Ooh, down to turn 1.
That was almost a spin. So that's just exactly what had to happen. This was within 1 lap. We were saying it was just about to go behind Winterbottom. They've made the right call.
So Craig Lowndes is going to come in there. You'll see he's going to come through the Erebus pit into his pit lane. Also, just talking to Tony D'Alberto's guys, they're going to leave him out there as long as they possibly can on fuel. They've only got 2 used soft rears to put him on, so they don't want to be running too long on those.
This is key now, Larko. Every second's going to count. This is a 2 tyre and a fuel top-up stop. He's going to come out right near Winterbottom.
Yeah, nice getaway too. Did you see that? Just a right amount of wheel spin. And look at Craig, no one more aggressive than that bloke out of the pit lane. Well done.
Yeah, and there's Mark Winterbottom, so he gets out ahead of him. Only just because Winterbottom is carrying maximum speed down to turn 1 and 2. So Lowndes will have to get into the rhythm here, have to settle into this car, get some temperature into those tyres.
And Matty, they can't afford to race each other. They've got to get on with it, because if they're going to catch Tander, they've got to find half a second a lap.
Winterbottom will go hard early here on Craig Lowndes. Give him as much as he can, and he does. Out of turn 6, has a look on the inside at 7. Lowndes hugs the curves. That's turn 8 where David Wall found the fence earlier today. That's where Tander found the wall. Now down here at turn 11. On the inside goes Winterbottom. Can Lowndes do the switch back at 12? No.
Well done. Good pass. This was critical pass, that one. That is effectively going to be at the moment for third position. When this race settles down, this will put them in third spot.
24 to go. We're effectively 6th. Alberto still hasn't skidded, so he'll still pop out ahead.
And that'll be welcome news for Mark Winterbottom. He really got aggressive there, didn't he? He telegraphed it earlier out of 6 to let Lowndes know that he was there. And in the end, it was a nice clean pass and carries the momentum on the outside of turn 12 to get the run up to 13, the final corner before they hit the main straightaway. So Tony D'Alberto, we know that they're going to go as long as they can because he doesn't have any real fresh rubber to put on. Wow, what a race. And it's looking very good for Tander. We always get wonderful support from the locals here for this event, and they've come out again in force. A 3-day figure, just over 146,000 people soaking in the atmosphere at the Superarchive Townsville 400. Practice on Friday and race day Saturday, Sunday with all the support categories and everything else going on. The Saturday night concert as well. Last night Ian Moss and Hoodoo Gurus. But one of the good stories on track has got to be the VIP Pet Foods Commodore of Shane van Gisbergen. Started 21st after putting it on pole yesterday, and now he's 4th. So Tony D'Alberto is our race leader, but he will have to stop Garth Tander and James Courtney, then Van Gisbergen, and behind him is Jonathan Webb.
So D'Alberto's pretty much got to stop. He'll stop in the next lap. There you go. He's about to come in. So Tander will lead. This race will be cleansed very soon. So Tander from Courtney. As you said, Van Gisbergen, who has done the fastest lap of the race, has forged his way forward, has done a very, very good job. So has Jonathan Webb. He's in 5th. That's a good bounce back for Techno.
And D'Alberto, when we talked about, so they're 2 used soft tyres from yesterday. They won't be real flash. Craig Lowndes, probably even a little bit worse. He put 1 left rear used soft tyre on from yesterday, and we already know that's 33 laps around here. Won't be really good.
Good to go. Lane's clear. Go, 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 go.
So there you go. There's the leader. Tander from Courtney. There's Van Gisbergen. We'll watch where D'Alberto pops out. He's going to pop out around Lowndes and Winterbottom. There's Winterbottom.
He may get out. He will get out just in front of Winterbottom. So Winterbottom faces the same scenario that he had with Craig Lowndes earlier. And this one shouldn't take too long for Mark Winterbottom to push on by, because Tony D'Alberto knew it, stayed out and gave him the room.
Gisbergen's just done the fastest first sector, that 21.9 that he just achieved. It's pretty racy at this point in the afternoon.
And he's 7.8 seconds behind Garth Tander.
Now, he came close to setting a lap record, Shane Van Gisbergen, on lap 37, a 1:13.9. The record is a 13.4, owned by Mark Winterbottom last year. It's a wonderful venue. That's the Ross River that cuts through the circuit. They go across it twice. Rejoin the Parklands area as they head back east and then snake around the pit lane complex.
Well, they're certainly not counting their chickens before they hatch here at the Holden Racing Team, but it's great to catch up with Ryan Walkinshaw, one of the great names of world motorsport, particularly here in Australia. Ryan, I know it's been a long, tough year, but you're starting to show some real promise.
Yeah, it's good. I think we let ourselves down a little bit yesterday with our setup. I think we had a little bit more to give, and guys have been working really hard overnight. And so far, as I said, I'm not going to count anything too soon. There's 20 laps to go, and it's, the last thing we need is another safety car, but so far, so good.
There's certainly a feeling in the team that there's a new energy at the moment. Things are heading in the right direction.
Yeah, we're getting there. It takes a long time. It's very, very competitive, and you know how it is. Everyone else is trying to increase what they're doing, and we're trying to play catch up a little bit. Certainly last year we were. And yeah, there's some momentum now building, and we've just got to keep that going forward.
Well, you're doing great work. It's good to see you getting the benefits. All the very best.
No worries, thanks.
They're 1 and 2 on the road, Barrett's. Garth Tander gets by Dean Fiore, but it's only just.
Oh, that was very close. Wheels locked. He had to drive it inside the curb because he was going to drill Dean Fiore's Dodo Commodore, and he got away with that. That was a bit of a mistake. Yes, so Tander just said, "You got any blue flags here this weekend?" But what he's really saying is that for cars that are being lapped, they have to have the blue flag out. And Garth's protesting that there's no blue flags this weekend. So Tander from Courtney, Van Gisbergen, Webb, Winterbottom, D'Alberto, Lowndes, Ingle, great job. Tim Slade, great job. And Will Davison, the winner from yesterday, is currently 10th. So the gaps are 2.1 seconds. Courtney has caught Tander on that lap with that traffic drama. Courtney's still got to get by Dean Fiore also. There's the gap. It's coming at him. And what Ryan Walkinshaw just said is very, very important, because if a safety car comes out, this man's the fastest bloke on the track. He's coming at them. At the moment, he's back to 6.5 seconds behind.
Remember, we had an FPR 1-2 in the race yesterday. At the moment, it's an HRT 1-2 of Tander and Courtney. You have to go back to Sandown 2009 to find the last time that the Holden Racing Team were 1 and 2. Garth Tander and Will Davison that day.
Try your front bar. 4.3 in your front bar.
That was Rob Starr just
back.
giving James Courtney a little rundown of what the bar setting needs to be. We're going to go on board with James Courtney for a lap around this fantastic racetrack. Have a look at the workload and the footwork.
was a 1:14.2 versus a 1:14.5 of his teammate. So they asked the drivers to do 140 of those in race conditions across the weekend. Then you add, of course, qualifying and practice as well, and the heat. It's a lot of work. There's our championship leader. Provisionally, again, is going to bleed some points this weekend. Jamie Whincup, 12th.
Doing a great job. Eyes forward.
This is another calm recovery on the part of Whincup, isn't it? Just, they've got terrible pace today. The thing isn't working right, but they're going to get some points and live to fight another day, regroup and get themselves organised for Queensland Raceway.
Now, right here is the engineering team running the Shane Van Gisbergen car. Bloke I want to talk to is Bruce Jenkinson. Bruce, we had a chat yesterday. He said a lot of effort has gone into the race car itself here. Maybe we didn't see enough effort in the pit stops yesterday. We won't go there, but, mate, the car is fast, looks great. You need about, what, 0.3 of a second? Have you got fuel to get home?
Well, we've got the fuel to get home, yeah, but we don't know what's happening with tyres with the other cars in front of us. We're just going to keep at the pace we're going, hopefully. If we can pick it up, we will, but we'll just see how long the other guys can go for. But, yeah, fantastic effort by the crew again today and by these guys standing next to me. Superb.
I think you can take your hat off. You've done a good job yourself, mate. Well done.
It's quite a run, isn't it?
It's a great run.
21st up to the podium.
Absolutely.
And more to come.
Especially when you consider what happened yesterday. And so to go away and regroup from all that's been impressive. That was Delberto out in the weeds there off the exit of turn 11.
And Ingle down the inside of Lowndes. Good pass. Great fight back for Russell Ingle today.
Yeah, he's up to 7th. And remember, he started from 26th. He really is doing some enforcing today. Back after this break. Welcome back. This circuit has been absolutely brutal on these cars and drivers. The strategy has fallen back in the hands of the teams. So everybody's having a role in this race as Mark Winterbottom moves up to 4th on the inside of the Darrell Lee Commodore of Jonathan Webb. Here's Jason Bright, Chaz Mostert and Alex Davison just outside the 10. So Bridie's in 13th. You're riding with the Wilson Security Racing Falcon out of DJR of Chaz. So Garth Tander has the lead by 2.7 seconds over James Courtney. Shane Van Gisbergen, who's up in 3rd, has been showing terrific pace. Now it's starting to even out a bit. It's all pretty much the same for the top runners.
And the gap that we said after the stops that Winterbottom was 14 seconds adrift to Tander, he needed to make half a second a lap. He has not been able to do that. He's currently 18.5 seconds behind Tander, meaning that that speed didn't eventuate for the FPR car versus Tander and Courtney. The fastest guy of the group has been Van Gisbergen, but as you said, Matt, that's just tapered off. He's got 4-lap older tyres, and that really means at that point, now it's still 6.9 seconds.
Down here with Wes McDougall, Timmy Slade engineer. Wes, we thought we'd get the car up on screen, mate, because I saw you run out to the pit wall. Was there a drama in the car?
No, not at all. There's just been blue flags outstanding for 2 laps there with car 21. So I'm just having a friendly chat with our next door colleagues who do pit stops. They've been really good to work with. So yeah, we're just trying to carve through, and we're catching Lowndes and Russell. So we're just maximum tack and trying to get them.
And that in itself, mate, you must be pleased with. He's running around in 9th spot in that Erebus AMG, and really good performance. Just has been a tough year and still a bit of development to do.
It's been tough. If anyone said we'd be 6th at the last race and have top 10 here in qualifying and running the top 10 now at Adelaide when we were doing all-nighters, I wouldn't have believed them, but it's testament to everyone back at the workshop, HWA, and also this lady's been driving top-notch this year.
Good job, mate. We'll let you get back to business. Thank you.
That's pretty cool when you hear Wes say we're hunting down Craig Lowndes. You wouldn't have thought that would be possible early in the year. Look at this battle, Todd Kelly, Fabian Coulthard. The other guy that's been really quiet and in the background relative to yesterday, gents, is Will Davison, position 10. Spoke to him on the grid, and he was clearly a bit worried about the car's behaviour after qualifying. He just hasn't been able to make any presence felt. I don't think strategy's helped them today either by hanging on to the hards as long as they did compared to those around them. I think everyone that got to double stint on a soft tyres clearly got a gain.
It's funny how different 24 hours can be in this game. Everything was going so well for them yesterday and worked out beautifully in terms of tyre use and strategy. And not today. And not a great run from Tim Slade inside the top 10, coming off a 6th place in the first race of the weekend at Hidden Valley.
Interesting game, isn't it? Because Whincup, on a weekend where they haven't had the speed and they're not getting the results, Whincup is 12th at the moment, and he's being coaxed forward by Mark Dutton. But versus the cars that are in the championship contention, Will Davison's in 10th and Craig Lowndes is in 8th. So there's only 4 spots. They're all down there. So on a weekend where you need to be Will Davison now, he needs to be either leading or on the podium, he hasn't been able to do that. So your point's really valid. It hasn't actually had the championship implication it should have.
This is an interesting exchange, and it's about to get more interesting. Todd Kelly and Alex Davison at the braking limit into turn 2. Also in there was Fabian. And Coulthard down in 17th in all this. So we're all going to walk away from North Queensland this weekend, and it's like a bag of marbles. We've shaken them up, and where they drop championship-wise is going to be interesting. I mean, clearly the Red Bull guys have got some comfort together with Fabian from what they've achieved earlier in the year, but we're seeing evidence now, strategically at least, that the Holden Racing team have got their act together. Ford Performance Racing was strong yesterday, and all of those key runners that have been making headlines in the first half of the championship season having a bit of a struggle this weekend.
Tander, the previous lap, was 0.3 faster than Courtney. He's actually brought that gap out to 3.2 seconds. Very good job.
It's interesting looking at Alex Davison down from the chopper there. Coming down to turn 1, the straight line speed of the Falcon versus the Nissan was clearly evident. And he was in position to get around Todd Kelly, but Todd locks it up. And Fabian Coulthard will pounce because Alex can't go anywhere. And then just a couple of corners later, James Moffat arrives on the scene and goes straight past Alex Davison.
They talk about nervous people in the garage. This lady next to me, Karis Courtney, wife of James. I can't get your eyes off the monitor at the moment. I thought after all these years you'd be used to this.
Oh, no, never used to it. And, yeah, less than 10 laps to go. Mathematically, definitely possible. But this game, anything is possible. So Fingers crossed.
James, it's been a busy year for James, hasn't it? I know they've worked really hard in here to get this sort of result, and they're getting it today, which is good.
Yeah, definitely. It's halfway through the season, but it feels like it's been a very long season. And no, it's good. The team are working incredibly hard, and to have them both at the front row right now, fingers crossed, really.
Take a deep breath, don't explode, Karis. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Already 3 podiums this year for James Courtney. On the podium in Tasmania and twice in Darwin. He has won a race here before in the inaugural weekend, but it would be a huge celebration for Holden Racing Team, the HRT fans, especially if they can deliver a 1-2.
And it might move Garth's tally that's been stuck on 50 wins for a long time up to 51.
Lost it on Bright.
And if you weren't with us earlier in the day, Bright obviously has been a race winner and championship contender this year, but he had a pit lane drive-through penalty for a scuffle with Michael Caruso early, and he's just fared on the wrong side of a little battle here with Mostert, and that's just dropped him a spot out in the weeds there. The back of the car looks knocked around as well. Team BOC entry. This has been a real puzzle for everybody this weekend to get cars working, and they just, a combination of the hard tyre being very hard around here. The soft tyres work pretty well. The hard tyres given them nothing. I think it's made it very difficult for people to get a read on their cars, understand how to set them up. It's really fumbled a lot of people who probably felt they were on top of their cars at the halfway point of the year or getting close to it.
James Moffat's showing some pretty good back-end pace here. He's already got round Alex Davison, as we know, and now he's just picked off Fabian Coulthard.
So that puts him into 16th. Todd Kelly's the highest of the Nissans at the moment in 15th, but he's making ground on Jason Bright. Mostert's speeds look pretty good, but obviously caught up in too many dramas. Garth Tander, we'll just get a lap time for you now just to see what's happening with this gap to James Courtney. You can see there Scott Sinclair in the foreground looking on intently. All the HRT guys, also Justin Burns on the right-hand side there. His father, Neil Burns, was a engine builder, a very popular and famous engine builder for Peter Brock many years ago. And Garth comes by with a 14.69. Courtney a 14.92. Van Gisbergen 14.81. So Tander, of the first 3 cars, is actually the fastest of those guys. So he looks like he's in good shape. He needs to not make a mistake. 5 laps to go.
That's one other thing too, with the sun getting lower as they approach down to turn 2. It's right in their eyes. It's turn 3 out of the big bump.
What's a mystery is why the customer cars, these are 888 built cars, Techno, why they've been so much more competitive on both the soft and the hard tyre over the weekend versus Red Bull. It's a very strange occurrence.
You know only too well that with the setup of a racing car, you very often lock yourself into a little bubble and you bolt together a series of combinations that you know work for you. And because of the limited practice time and qualifying time and the way qualifying and racing works in the series at the moment, there's very little wriggle room as we go back to Garth Tander, 3-second margin. So the minute you've got to think outside the square with setup, but sometimes it almost ends up pin the tail on the donkey. Yep. You've just got to go, well, where do we want to go? And each item that you adjust on the race car has an impact on another area. It's very rarely the case that it's a single bullet solution where you just go, yeah, that's the thing that we need to do there. So you change one thing, it affects a whole range of things. So very often they just don't have the time to react. And I think that's caught so many people in the field this weekend, especially Red Bull. You know, wherever they've locked themselves in their combination of ride heights, shock absorber settings and spring settings and all of the other geometric stuff that goes with it, they've got themselves trapped in a corner that's not easy to get out of.
Very true, and remembering it's the first time for all these guys at this racetrack. So car of the future, all new platform, all new specification, everyone's been a pioneer.
And it's good to know that they're human, because they've been superhuman in their performance sometimes in the last couple of years. You've been through a patch like that yourself, Mark, where you just do super well, and sometimes you have to try hard for it to come undone. But they're working for it this weekend, and that's been to the benefit of many other teams.
We just saw James Moffat get another spot as we go a little bit further back to find Rick Kelly here in position 20, and Scott Pye gets around Tim Blanchard. A bit of debris on the track around there, and a whole heap of rubber as well through turns 5 down to 6.
I said it yesterday, Matt, when Ford Performance Racing were leading, they were 1-2, and they needed to slow up because the next car was a fair way back. Right now, car 2 and 22, slow them up because they're 8.5 seconds in front of Van Gisbergen. Do not make a mistake.
Form finish.
Yeah, well, just slow them up. Just don't take a risk.
Hang on, Scaife, it ain't quite as easy as that, mate. If you're going to do that, who'd you put up front, mate? The Maroons or the Blues?
Well, I'm on the Blues, you know that. But right now, they are 1-2 in this field, and you don't want them to trade off the fastest laps they can possibly do, Larko. You want them to contain the performance, don't make a mistake, make sure for the team it's 1-2.
We've got to call out Garth too. I mean, hey, he's born and bred in West Australia, lives in Melbourne, comes up here and sticks the maroon flag on the bottom.
Hey, not only that, mate, I've been chewing my nails over when Garth hit the wall earlier on in the race, mate. You know yourself, how often do we see the next day, 50 laps later, the next week, a little rod end's been broken and cracked and has broken off, and I'm not putting the mocker on him, but he needs to take, you're dead right, like you said yesterday, win by the smallest possible margin.
And that's what I mean, Larko. I mean, you wouldn't normally get through that contact that Garth Tander had earlier in the race. That was a massive contact at a very high-speed section of the road. He got away with it, but now just go slow. Just win the race by the minimal margin.
Hats off to whoever came up with the notion in the bunker, though, within their group, because they applied it to all the cars, as you said earlier in the broadcast. It's these guys here that have had a good think about it and said, you know what, I reckon if we go back-to-back on soft tyres here, we might have a plan. And they're the only ones to be adventurous. Well, not the only ones, but they were certainly the first ones that came in with a clear plan to do that. They knew well in advance that's exactly what they were going to do. They had the track position to pull it off, and they've got away with it. So that's a big win for the guys in the bunker, and you've got to remember there's more than one person involved in these teams, not just the driver whose name's on the glass.
100%. And that part, Propo, that thinking on your feet, that's stuff that's pre-planned. We're going to take a look at this hit. Have a look at this. He passed McLaughlin, then bang! All four wheels off the road and into the fence. That would normally put you out. So the preparation of the car, very, very good. Look at the damage on the left-hand rear. And they've got away with it, which, again, this is a weird sport. This is one that he's got away with, and he will value this. They haven't won for so long, and a 1-2 will be very important.
They haven't won for 2 years. They haven't had a 1-2 for 4 years. On lap 69 of 70. What about the other performances? Shane Van Gisbergen started 21st, currently on the podium. Tony D'Alberto in 5th is on track for his best ever V8 Supercar finish. Russell Ingall has made up 20 spots from the start. He's in 6th. Tim Slade, the sole Mercedes-Benz AMG in the running, is in the top 10 in 8th.
Ingall's a chance to get D'Alberto. He's only 0.28 behind him. So Ingall might get to 5th. What a great drive.
Tony's tyres are obviously starting to be in the second hand. There he is. He is 5th as we speak.
Wow.
Great job.
Fire in the old boy yet. Well done.
Russell started the year with a 4th placing on the Sunday in Adelaide.
7 seconds. 7 seconds.
And that's the cue to roll out. So he's worried. What he's asking is the gap to Van Gisbergen. He's not worried about James. So that 7-second reference is to Shane. Do you want to
form them up? That's exactly what you should do.
2007.
Sorry, it's only 4 seconds, but yeah, we couldn't do that. Don't go too crazy. Let's bring it home.
He won the V8 Supercar Championship, and now he wants a special moment. Let's form them up. They're going to wait and see, because James is 3.7 seconds back. He's arriving in a hurry, though, to make sure he's part of this one. Garth Tander won here back in 2011.
Here we go.
That same year, he went on to win Bathurst with Nick Percat. And here comes James Courtney. The State of Origin colours will fly side by side as the two Holden Racing Team Commodores complete what will be a famous victory. It's been a long time coming. Garth Tander breaks a 2-year drought, and they've done it in style.
Yeah, boys, yeah, what a way to come back. Thank you very much.
loose. The Kiwi almost threw away third place there on the final turn, but what an effort and a great sight.
See the guys there, Jason Bush and Adrian Raskin and all the boys. Robbie Starr, look at it. Russell Ingall.
You are crazy. Russell Ingall comes across in 5th, Mark Winterbottom in 4th, and Tony D'Alberto equals a personal best of 6th. Karis Courtney celebrates James on the podium. So a 1-2 finish for the first time in 4 years for the Holden Racing team. Have to go back to Sandown 2009 when Garth won the race over Will Davison. And they've done it well. He survived early dramas throughout the weekend with suspension failures. He pushed through the field yesterday, Garth Tander. And then he was in control today, and a huge impact into the wall at turn 10 early in the race did not unsettle this man.
Got to watch this wall here, Matt.
Well, he hasn't put a foot right. He's seen the wall before.
This is where Will Davison, wasn't it, yesterday?
You know, you go up and down our list of drivers, and every time I look at Garth Tander when he has a performance like this, I just think of ultra-professional. He keeps his head down. He doesn't let anything unsettle him. You've said before he can drive around a problem in a car. He's held them off. Our championship leader, Jamie Whincup, finishes in 11th. Yesterday's race winner, Will Davison, finished in 10th.
Okay, boys, down to the numbers down below, mate. 1 and 2. Awesome stuff.
And that means career number 51 win for Garth Tander. Mark Winterbottom, the best of the Fords. Great effort from Tim Slade to be inside the top 10. The best of the Nissans was James Moffat, who showed really surprising back-end speed. Alex Prema there, just inside the top 20, and a tough day, a tough start to the day for Maro Engel and Lee Holdsworth, and also Davey Reynolds. Wow. So it's the 2011 Bathurst, their last win. And James Courtney salutes his teammate, who just knocks over the number 1 for good measure.
That is a very important win for that team, Matt. Very, very strong performance.
Well, you said it before, Neil, that it's so much more about the name on the glass on the side of the car. It's about the team. And when you know that this proud Holden Racing team has really had to fight hard to get back to the front of the field, they've had to take deep breaths and work long hours to do it. They're not the only ones in pit lane. There's a lot of pressure involved when you've got the fame of HRT and that history behind you.
There's a huge fan base. They're very passionate in their support of this team. It's been a long time between drinks for them, so it's a great moment.
Celebrations with Ryan Walkinshaw at the moment, and James Courtney once again. We'll see if we can catch up with the boys. Garth, congratulations. How did you pull that off from the guy on Friday who had parts flown in? Here you are with the win on Sunday. Awesome effort, mate.
Oh, mate, awesome effort. The entire team, the HRT boys, the Walkinshaw Racing boys, all the boys back at the workshop in Clayton. I mean, we had a busy weekend. We had a lot of broken stuff on the car, and the car was fantastic yesterday on the soft tyre, and we weren't quite good enough on the hard, but made it better on the hard today. And then when that safety car came out, I knew we could do the double stint. We saved enough tyres in the race yesterday, so awesome strategy from the guys, and thanks to all our supporters for sticking by us. I know it's been a long drought between race wins, but not a bad way to come back 1 and 2, so it's pretty cool.
A great way to come back. How big is that result for the Holden Racing team?
Well, we've been saying all along that we will win a race. It's just a matter of when. So, mate, that's huge. I mean, we've been knocking on the door for a long time, and, you know, we have been getting better with car speed, and we've got a lot of work to go yet, but to get that result, I mean, the guys were so smart with their strategy, and the cars were such a pleasure to drive in that race that I love it when a plan comes together.
Speaking of which, when you hit the wall there early on, when you hit the wall, GT, we just didn't know how the car might hold together. What happened there?
Well, I hit the wall. I mean, I went up the inside of Scotty McLaughlin and just came in a bit shallow and ran me wide, and it was a pretty big hit. The car's got a big vibration, and I didn't know we'd get to the end, but I wasn't going to give up. So, yeah, look, it was a couple of small skirmishes. lap traffic was a bit of an issue, but you know, you forget about all that stuff now, and we go to the press conference, then we go back with the team and spend a bit of time. That was pretty cool. So I want to say hi to Scarlett and Sebastian at home. I'll see you tomorrow, guys.
Well done, mate. Awesome. James, for you, a great race and a great finish. That 1-2 was just, we'll remember that for a long time.
Yeah, it would have been a better memory if it was the other way around. But no, it's you know, a solid result from all the boys. They've worked so hard down at, you know, not only the boys on the race team, but everyone at the home base as well. So thanks to all the girls and guys that put it together for us. But you know, it's an awesome result for us and the team. It's you know, we're just pacing ourselves and you know, making sure we got it home. So it's fantastic.
Onwards and upwards, guys. Congratulations. Enjoy the podium. Well done.
Cheers.
And Shane Van Gisbergen, of course, a great result once again for him. And just congratulating with the team. Good that we catch up with these two guys because it was an awesome team effort. Shane, congratulations. Well done.
Thank you. That was awesome. We were playing backwards at turn 1, so there's some crazy stuff at the back. So we were last, and then we took that safety car, and just the car was awesome. Made some good passes, and you know, come out third. I didn't believe it when we heard it, but yeah, we just had speed, which helped as well. So great weekend, makes up for yesterday.
Certainly one to remember from the guy who spun on the first lap to taking a spot on the podium. Congratulations. Enjoy it, Shane.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
And Barrett's one to remember for Tony D'Alberto. Well done, mate. Position 6, your equal best ever, and mate, out there racing against some much bigger teams than yourself.
Yeah, it was actually, I really enjoyed the day racing against all the big names and passing them and repassing me. We had a really good battle there. Had a bit of a steering drama at the end there, and old Rusty got me, so I can't hold him back.
No, we're really happy for you, mate. It was great to see. Now, a guy we will talk to is Russell Ingall. Now, don't tell me he's just bowled it. No, here he's, look, he's hiding around here. What I do know is about his car, look, not a dent in it. So I don't know about the enforcer or the enforcer, what we should call you, old buddy. You are knackered, I can tell. Hang on, we'll grab a seat here with you, mate. A couple of old blokes. Can't believe I'm putting my arm around you. Mate, 26 to 5th. That is remarkable, mate.
Mate, I'm getting too old for this.
Well, mate, seriously, I don't know about retirement. I'd be hanging around a bit longer.
Mate, I'll tell you what. You know, I've said it before, but you don't have to win to have an enjoyable race. And that was good, you know, because it's about racing, you know. Getting in, having a bloody good go. As soon as you see a hole, just stick the thing in there and go, hang on.
Mate, not only that, I just had a walk around the car. It's the first time I've seen you make up so many positions without taking anyone off the track, mate. Well done. So you've achieved a lot today.
Well, that should be a Guinness Book of Records too, shouldn't it? That should be in there. Hey, hi to Jazz. It's her birthday this weekend. I've missed another birthday. Happy birthday, Jazz.
All right, mate, we're really happy for you. Great to see. Cheers.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, I don't reckon there's any question that Russell Ingall is what V8 supercar racing is all about. Wonderful effort, making up 21 spots. So let's check out the championship picture. 111 points now is the lead that Jamie Whincup has. So he's dropped 48 points across the course of the weekend in terms of a spread. And Mark Winterbottom is on the charge. Garth Tander puts 150 in the bank, and he is 6th in the championship. But Barrett's, you can take it away on the podium. He's about to go to the top step.
The Supergen Townsville 400, our 21st race of the year. Would you please congratulate our first place driver for the Holden Racing team, Garth Tander. In second place for the Holden Racing team, James Courtney. In third place for Techno Team VIP, Shane Van Gisbergen. And representing the winning team, the Holden Racing team, Anthony McDonald. Making the presentation of the third place trophy is John Hathaway, MP member for Townsville. Presenting the second place trophy is Councillor Jenny Hill, the Mayor of Townsville. Making the presentation to our winning team is Paul Lawson, National Field Sales Manager, Australia and New Zealand for the Armoured Auto Group. And presenting the first place trophy is John Pratt, General Manager, Growers and Community Relations from our naming rights sponsor, Supergen. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2013 V8 Supercars Supergen Townsville 400 Race 21 winners.
Now, the old saying is it's a long time between drinks, and you watch this champagne be savoured, especially between the teammates.